Yesterday, I finished the basic idea of the stream of yogas in principle which began on the first day. Today, let's look them back in brief and go on to the 5 accumulation of grasping. First, I told you that the process of the spiritual practice of yoga of Mahayana is different from that of Hinayana. However, the process of the 4 steps and the 4 results were the same no matter if it was Hinayana or Mahayana. The first step, to enter the stream of the truth, was the state when one had depended upon the holy stream. And when one could completely depend himself on the holy stream, it is called the result of entering the stream of the truth. The step on its way is called the step to enter the stream of the truth. Those who once come down to these 6 realms of desires and go up to the astral world are called the step to come once, and the result of coming once. Those who have no necessity to come down to the 6 realms of desires from the astral world are the step of non-return, and the result of not returning. The step of arhat, and the result of arhat, is the state when one can understand the reason and the result in the astral world. The practitioners of Hinayana can enter nirvana at this point, but the practice of Mahayana still has a long way to go. One should go on to the process of Raja Yoga. If one sees 3 gunas based on the strong power of will, it is the attainment of Raja Yoga. The attainment of Kundalini Yoga which comes after that is to fly to the astral world or the causal world by rising the life energy. And to know the 3 worlds of the phenomenal world, the astral world, and the causal world. Since we can obtain a thorough knowledge of past lives as well, we can understand that every relationship in this world such as parents and children or husband and wife occurs through the karmic connection. To understand this means that he had already prepared for observing things equally. When he is ready to observe things equally, he practices Jnana Yoga. And when he completely observes and analyzes the reason and result in this phenomenal world, and when he could understand everything in this world, he attains Jnana Yoga. He goes on Mahayana Yoga based on the mind of equality which he had cultivated by this attainment. The 3 practices of Mahayana Yoga were to love, to feel compassion, and to praise. This eradicates all adversaries, and he will be praised and loved by all people. With this great merit, he goes into Astral Yoga. Astral Yoga can be interpreted as the yoga of emptiness. In Astral Yoga, he uses the body of reward to exchange information in the world of image. This is the information that is made from the information which came down from the causal world. In the end, he exchanges the information in the causal world, becomes a completely clear state, and enters Mahayana. The attainers who had attained Mahayana do not come down to this world since they know everything and experienced everything. However, there are cases when they intentionally reincarnate in the world of rough dimensions at the level of the body of manifestation. His Holiness, Dalai Lama is one of those examples. And those who had come down from Mahayana as the body of manifestation naturally obtains the body of Dharma, the body of reward, and the body of essence. Then in which worlds do they activate? First, there is the realm of non-form which is connected to Mahayana. Please consider the realm of non-form as the synonym of the causal world. It is a world with nothing but mind, which exists below Mahayana. From 1/3 below the highest part of the realm of non-form, the astral world, the realm of form, is overlapped. It is overlapped. And the phenomenal world exists overlapped by the astral world and the bottom 1/3 of the causal world. So you should understand that this phenomenal world is made of a 3-fold structure. And the body of manifestation activates in the astral world which is overlapped with this phenomenal world, the lower astral world. The body of reward works in the high astral world. The body of reward appears at the time of astral yoga. The body of Dharma works in the part which is overlapped to the phenomenal world and the lower astral world, the lower causal world, and the part which is overlapped to the high astral world, the middle causal world. The body of essential works in the upper causal world. And the body of Vajra is the true self. If I were to correspond this to each chakra, it is as follows. The body of manifestation in Manipura chakra, the body of Dharma in Anahata Chakra, the body of reward in Vishuddha Chakra, the body of essence in Ajna Chakra, and the body of Vajra in Sahasrara Chakra. The attainment of Mahayana is the state when one can simultaneously use all 5 bodies of the body of manifestation, the body of Dharma, the body of reward, the body of essence, and the body of Vajra. So the true self who had attained Mahayana can freely come down to lower worlds by using the necessary body. Generally, the body of essence and the body of Dharma are invisible because they are made of consciousness. So they always use the body of reward to go down. The great Lord Shiva whom I met in the astral world is using the body of reward. And the people who had made the perfection use the body of manifestation if they were to come down to this phenomenal world. The review has finished. Let's go into today's discourse. Today I would like to explain the 5 accumulations of grasping, which can be found in the Agama Sutra. The 5 accumulations of grasping are body, sense, sufficient consciousness, subconsciousness, and will. Then how should we deal with these 5 accumulations of grasping according to the words of Buddha Sakyamuni? He teaches as follows. Physical body is something which will be caught in diseases, and something which will be aged. So you should negate it and detach from it. Sense changes and occurs sufferings. Since sense are connected to the outer world, it tries to pull us into the rough world. So you should negate it and detach from it. Sufficient consciousness is the consciousness that we think in our daily life. It can easily be changed. For example, like, dislike, pleasure, and sorrow. This is also the reason for suffering, so you should negate it and detach from it. Subconsciousness is an image. It belongs to the astral world. Though the lifespan is long and aging takes enormous time in the astral world, such things are sure to come in the end. As a result, everything is impermanent. So you should negate it and detach from it. It is the same with our will. Our will often change. And we suffer when we couldn't fulfill what we had tried. So you should negate it and detach from it. Please think of what result can you get by detaching from the 5 accumulations of grasping. Please compare this to the 4 steps and the 4 results. Detaching from the physical body, detaching from sense, and eradicating sufficient consciousness. Detaching from subconsciousness and will which exist in the astral world. Isn't it the practice to enter the causal world by becoming arhat? Isn't the final aim equal to that of the practice of the 4 steps and the 4 results? So, the 5 accumulations of grasping was the system of practice to enter the nirvana of Hinayana. Why didn't Buddha Sakyamuni preach Mahayana? Buddha Sakyamuni taught the method to enter the causal world by the 5 accumulations of grasping. However, he does not mention what kind of world the causal world is. In the causal world, there should be the fundamental element, cosmic godly element, the sphere of life Vayu, and various spheres of light which can be seen. But he never mentioned anything about them. I think he intentionally did so. Why do you think he had done so? At the same time, he also teaches the system of practice called the 7 groups and 37 system of practices. This is also the system of practice to attain the causal world as it is in the practice of the 4 steps and the 4 results, and the 5 accumulations of grasping. Why did Buddha Sakyamuni only teach the attainment of Hinayana, leaving the process of Mahayana aside? What do you think? It is not correct to think that he didn't know the further stage. He understood every stage of yogas and attained ultimate enlightenment. I can prove this by looking into the original Buddhist sutras. Buddha Sakyamuni had already obtained the 6 supernatural powers in his past lives. Buddha Sakyamuni had a great merit. This tells that he had attained the ultimate enlightenment in his past lives. The 6 supernatural power can't be obtained without attaining that level. Buddha Sakyamuni didn't teach the process of Mahayana because the state of the souls at that period was not heading toward Mahayana. People were suffering. They think of doing spiritual practice if they were to escape from suffering. However, They didn't have the mind to do spiritual practice for other people. In such a situation, it is natural that the idea of Mahayana to devote oneself to others and to live for others cannot be accepted. If he were to force people to do so, they may throw away the spiritual practice itself. And if they throw away their spiritual practice, they might fall to hell. This is the reason why he concentrated on the teaching to bring people to a higher world rather than the teaching of Mahayana to make a man of the saviors. Buddha Sakyamuni said, "You should give 3 offerings, observe 5 precepts, and take refuge in the truth. This lets you throw away the path to hell and let you attain heaven." Rather than perplexing people's minds by telling too many things, he mainly tried to lead people to a world of happiness. Mahayana is superior to Hinayana. But it seems that he had told the process of Mahayana to some of his high disciples. When I read their poems, I can understand that they are far above the level of Hinayana. It seems that the teacher has to change the level or the method according to whom he speaks. Anyway, the difference between the level of Hinayana and Mahayana is great. There is a story in Buddhist text which shows this. Long before Sakyamuni comes down to this world as Buddha, he was a spiritual practitioner named Mikyak. One day, True Victor Holy Light went to the palace invited by a king. On his way, there was a paved road and an unpaved road. People carpeted their clothes on the paved road to make the path for the True Victor. However, nobody put their clothes on the unpaved road because the clothes become dirty by the earth. But this was not the case with Mikyak. She put her long hair on the unpaved road and let the True Victor pass by. The True Victor Holy Light told the enlightened disciples who were walking after him, "You shouldn't step on the hair of Mikyak. Only Buddha, the enlightened one of Mahayana, can step on this." Those disciples were the practitioners of Hinayana. And I think his words clearly show the difference between the enlightenment of Mahayana and the enlightenment of Hinayana. To tell the truth, Mikyak was having promise at that time. "I shall offer my hair to the True Victor Holy Light. And with this merit, I hope I become the Buddha in the future." Buddha here means the Mahayana Buddha, or the ultimate enlightened one. And after he, Mikyak in this story, reincarnated over and over to do his spiritual practice. Some people say after 1,000 lives, some people say after 2,000 lives, he became Mahayana Buddha and appeared 2,500 years ago. And he finished his salvation and returned to Mahayana. The big difference between transcending and detaching. Let's go back to the 5 accumulations of grasping once again. The practice to detach from the 5 accumulations of grasping is necessary for both Hinayana as well as in Mahayana. So let's think of how to understand the 5 accumulations of grasping as the practitioner of Mahayana. In the case of Mahayana, please change detaching from the 5 accumulations of grasping to transcending the 5 accumulations of grasping. Then what is the difference between transcending and detaching? Detaching is to be detached without any understanding. However, this has a problem. For example, let's say that you had detached thinking, "It is horrible." But if the new information, "It is pleasurable," was given, you may start to think, perhaps it is not horrible but pleasurable, and may begin to approach once again. Compared to detachment, transcend is more certain because it indicates the state when you are not influenced at all, which is done as the result of understanding everything. No matter what information you may be given, you can never lose your stability. Especially in the case of the spiritual practitioners of Mahayana, one should sacrifice oneself and go into the sufferings of other people. If he kept escaping and detaching from the 5 accumulations of grasping, he is sure to lose his stability. Then there will be a possibility to go into the world of obscuration once again. So you must transcend the 5 accumulations of grasping, or else you cannot do the practice of Mahayana. Could you understand me? Today, based on the 5 accumulations of grasping, I spoke about the difference between the level and the system of practice of Mahayana and Hinayana. This is not a commercial project. For as many people as possible to come across this information, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment of 8 words or more.